Hey everyone, welcome back to Tales of the Famous, where we dive deep into the lives, legends, and lingering mysteries of the icons who shaped our world. I'm your host, and today we're cracking open a story that's equal parts heartbreaking, inspiring, and downright jaw-dropping. Picture this. It's July 20th, 1973. The world loses Bruce Lee, the man who redefined martial arts, shattered Hollywood's glass ceilings, and became a symbol of unbreakable spirit at just 32 years old. His death sends shockwaves globally, leaving fans reeling, conspiracy theories swirling, and a legacy that burns brighter than ever. Fast forward 52 years to 2025. Routine maintenance at his final resting place in Seattle's Lakeview Cemetery turns into something no one saw coming. Workers open the tomb, and what they uncover inside, it's not just preserved history. It's a time capsule of genius, grief, and a final message from the dragon himself that feels like it was written straight to us. This isn't clickbait, folks. It's the real deal, pieced together from family accounts, preservation reports, and the whispers of history. Buckle up, because this tale of Bruce Lee is about to hit harder than one of his one-inch punches. Let's start at the beginning, because to understand the man, you gotta trace the dragon's path from the very first spark. Bruce Lee, born Lee Jun Fan on November 27th, 1940, in San Francisco's Chinatown, wasn't destined for ordinary. His dad, Lee Hoi Chin, was a big-shot Cantonese opera star touring the States when Bruce popped into the world. That name? Jun Fan means return again, like a promise of comebacks and reinventions. And boy, did he deliver. But Bruce's real fire was forged in Hong Kong's gritty streets. At 4 months old, the family shipped back east, and young Bruce grew up amid the chaos of post-war Hong Kong. Kid was a natural performer. By age 6, he was stealing scenes in movies like Golden Gate Girl, rubbing shoulders with stars while dodging real-life trouble. See, even with his silver spoon opera lineage, Bruce was no stranger to scraps. Street fights were his unwanted classroom, teaching him survival in a city that didn't pull punches. That's when fate, or maybe just good timing, introduced him to Ip Man, the grandmaster of Wing Chun Kung Fu. At 13, Bruce knocked on IP's door, desperate for discipline. Ip Man didn't just teach him slick traps and chain punches. He instilled a philosophy of efficiency, humility, and flow. Bruce soaked it up like a sponge, blending it with his chaotic energy. Hours in dim dojos, wooden dummies echoing with strikes. This was the foundation of Jeet Kune Do, his revolutionary way of the intercepting fist. But Hong Kong's troubles, including gang rumbles, pushed him back to America at 18. Deported, some say, but Bruce turned exile into empire building. Landing in Seattle in 1959, broke but buzzing, Bruce hustled, dishwasher by day, dreamer by night. He enrolled at the University of Washington, studying drama and philosophy, but his real classroom was the streets of Chinatown again. This time, though, he flipped the script. In an era when martial arts dojos were Chinese-only clubs, Bruce opened his doors wide. His first school? A cramped basement in Seattle's Chinatown, drawing a rainbow of students, black, white, Asian, you name it. Enter Jesse Glover, his first American pupil, a tough ex-boxer who became a lifelong brother-in-arms. And then there's Linda Emery, a white girl from a conservative family who wandered in curious and walked out as his wife. They met in 61. By 64, they were hitched, defying stares and societal side eyes. Bruce and Linda built a life here, kids Shannon and Brandon on the way, a home filled with sweat, laughter, and endless quotes from Lao Tzu. Seattle wasn't just a pit stop. It was where Bruce evolved from street brawler to sage, crafting Jeet Kune Do as a hybrid art. Absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what is uniquely your own. But fame? That came knocking in Hollywood, and Bruce answered with a roar. A chance demo at the 1964 Long Beach Karate Tournament, flying side kicks, nunchaku twirls, caught the eye of producers. Boom! Kato and the Green Hornet, 1966 to 67. Sure, he was the Asian sidekick to Van Williams' Britt Reed, but Bruce stole every scene. Fans in Asia went nuts. The show got rebranded the Kato Show overseas. Yet Hollywood's racism stung. They wouldn't cast him as the lead. Execs feared no one would watch an Asian hero. Bruce fumed, wrote screenplays, trained A-listers like Steve McQueen and James Coburn for free. "Be water, my friend," he'd say, adaptable, unstoppable. Frustrated, he bounced back to Hong Kong in '71. What happened next? Box office Armageddon. The Big Boss, 1971. Bruce's chops in a drug cartel takedown. Smashed records, earning $3.2 million on a $400,000 budget. Fist of Fury, 1972, followed. A revenge epic against Japanese oppressors that ignited national pride in Asia. Audiences wept, cheered, rioted in theaters. Then Way of the Dragon, 1972, directed by Bruce himself, pitting him against Chuck Norris in Rome's Colosseum. Iconic. Warner Brothers finally called. Enter the Dragon, 1973, his Hollywood breakout. Filming wrapped. The world was his. But on July 20th, 1973, everything shattered. Bruce, peak invincible at 32, heads to actress Betty Ting Pei's apartment to hash out a script for Game of Death. Mid-chat, he complains of a headache, pops Equagesic, a painkiller with aspirin. He naps it off. It doesn't wake up. Rushed to Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Hong Kong. He's pronounced dead on arrival. Cause: cerebral edema, brain swelling from fluid buildup. Autopsy confirms it, but whispers explode. Was it the pill? A secret family curse? Triad hit for snubbing gangsters? Assassination by jealous rivals? Even hypersensitive sensitivity to aspirin tied to a prior collapse in May. The world mourned like never before. Over 25,000 fans clogged Hong Kong streets for a Buddhist funeral procession snaking miles. In the U.S., headlines screamed Dragon dies. Linda, shattered, chose Seattle for his rest. Not Hong Kong's frenzy, but the quiet city where they'd rooted their dreams. Lakeview Cemetery, overlooking Lake Washington, became his eternal dojo. A private ceremony on July 31st, 1973. Ashes interred in a bronze urn, topped by a granite marker etched with his words. The key to immortality is first living a life worth remembering. Pallbearers? McQueen, Coburn, Sterling Silliphant. Hollywood heavyweights turned devoted students. That tomb? It's no ordinary plot. Polished granite, Bruce's profile in bas-relief. Chinese characters mingling with English. Beside him, since 1993, Brandon Lee, the son who chased his dad's shadow and caught tragedy. Born '65, Brandon barely knew Bruce, but he inherited the fire. Ballet training for grace, martial arts for power, acting gigs in kung fu. The movie in rapid fire. Poised for stardom in The Crow, 1994. A prop gun misfire on set. A blank cartridge with a pushed-in primer pierced his gut. Dead at 28, echoes of his father. Laid next to Bruce. Their graves a poignant duo. Father and son, legends cut short, symbols of a family's double grief. For 52 years, that site drew pilgrims. Thousands yearly, from Tokyo teens to Tacoma grandpas. Leave coins for luck, flowers, white lilies for purity, nunchaku replicas, even mandarin oranges nodding to Chinese roots. It's Seattle's top celebrity haunt, outdrawing Jimi Hendrix's grave. Taiki Kimura, Bruce's first Seattle black belt, cleaned it annually till his passing in 2021. Shannon Lee, now CEO of Bruce Lee Enterprises, guards the flame, blending philosophy with podcasts and protein shakes. But in 2025, routine called Seattle's City Council, eyeing erosion from Pacific Northwest rains, requests permission for maintenance. Linda, 80 now, hesitates, reliving 73? Gut-wrenching. But Bruce's ethos? Be like water, flow with it. She nods yes. Prep was surgical. Lake view transforms. Climate-controlled dome over the site. UV-filtered lights to fend off fade. Ground-penetrating radar mapping internals without a scratch. A top-tier preservation squad. Think Egyptologist-level pros. Sterilizes tools. Runs drills. Security? Fort Knox. Perimeter fences, NDAs for all, drones overhead. Chinese cultural advisors bless the ground. Buddhist monks chant sutras at dawn. Shannon pores over plans, adding family lore. Dad hated waste. Make it efficient. Legal Eagles.eyes. The city foots the bill, honoring their adopted son. July 20th, 2025, 52 years to the day. Dawn breaks misty. Monks in saffron robes circle the site, incense curling like dragon smoke. The team, hearts pounding, breaches the outer seal. Granite lid, sealed with epoxy from 73. Hours tick. Layers peel like onion skin, each a nod to 70s foresight. Redundant liners, desiccant packs warding moisture. Minimal decay. The tomb's a vault, holding time at bay. As the inner chamber yawns open, jaws drop. Air thick with faded sandalwood from the funeral. No rot, no ruin, everything pristine like paused mid-breath. Silk linings shimmer, original luster intact. Wooden accents unwarped. Tributes frozen in place. A fan's origami crane, a student's faded belt. But the real treasures? Bruce's essence, curated by love. Spotlight on the nunchaku, those oak icons from Enter the Dragon, oiled and encased, handles gleaming like yesterday's fight. Nearby, his first Wing Chun dummy arm, scarred from endless drills under IP Man. And the manual? Leather-bound, pages whispering. Hand-scrawled notes in Bruce's sharp script. Chinese proverbs beside English marginalia like adapt or perish. It bridges worlds, east meets west in ink. Then, the letters a sealed trove in acid-free envelopes, tributes from the inner circle. Linda's hit hardest, dozens, penned in tear-stained ink from deathbed to dirge. Early ones raw. How do I breathe without you? Evolving to steel. Vows to raise Shannon and Brandon as light. Shield his writings from Hollywood hacks. Spread Jeet Kune Do pure. You taught me limits are lies. One reads. I'll be water for our kids. Team docs it all, gloved hands trembling. But the bombshell? That crimson-waxed envelope. Dragons entwined like a yin-yang tattoo. No name, just mystery. They crack it. And there, in Bruce's meticulous hand, dated July 17th, 1973, a letter not of goodbye, but Genesis. To those who carry the flame, it ignites. If you're reading these words, know the journey we began together never ends. The limitations you perceive, illusions of the mind. Be water. Flow through obstacles, adapt to challenges, find strength in formlessness. But above all, remember, your true path emerges not from following my way, but discovering your own. Empty your cup, so it may fill with your wisdom. Live not for applause, but authenticity. The key? First, live a life worth remembering. Then, immortality follows. Chills, right? Written days before collapse, like he glimpsed the veil. No curse, no conspiracy, just prescience. Preservationists gasp, Shannon weeps. Headlines erupt. Bruce's final prophecy unearthed. Fans flood forums, philosophers debate. It's proof Bruce didn't die. He evolved, words rippling eternal. This opening? More than artifacts, it's affirmation. Bruce, the social revolutionary, quietly toppled walls. In 60s America, fists flying amid civil rights fire, he trained Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, later Game of Death co-star. Dan Inosanto, folks from every hue. Dojos desegregated on his watch. Hollywood glimpsed Asian, leads through his lens. His library? 2,500 tomes. Nietzsche to Tao, anatomy to Zen, fueling a fitness Bible ahead of its time. Cross-training, isometrics, 50-mile runs. I fear not the man who practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the one who practiced one kick 10,000 times. And the philosophy? Timeless jet fuel. Be like water, from floods to fists, preaches flow in a rigid world. Today, it powers UFC hybrids, boardroom pivots, therapy sessions. Shannon nails it. Dad shocked the world in life. Now, from beyond, he reminds us, legacy isn't marble, it's motion. So, what do you think, legends? Did Bruce sense his end, scripting eternity? How's this water wisdom washing over your life? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Did this hit you like a flying kick? Smash that like if Bruce lives on in you. Subscribe for more untold tales. And hit the bell. Next up, a Lost Beatles demo that rewrites rock history. Until then, be water, my friends. Empty your cup. Peace.